Hello, all poetry lovers. Welcome to my channel, Lata Singh #Leo. Today, we are going to read and explain a poem written by Robin Klein. Her full name is Robin McMurray Klein, and she's an Australian author of books for children. She mainly writes for children. She writes children's and young adult fiction, and some of her famous books are Hating Alison Ashley, People Might Hear You, and the poem that we are going to do today, that's Amanda, is also one of the famous poems written by Robin Klein. Well, every child feels that he or she is controlled and instructed not to do one thing or another. You too may feel that your freedom is curtailed. In this poem, also, the girl named Amanda, uh, sh- it is shown that how she shields herself from the bothering, annoying, and repeated complaints and reminders of her mother. Without even saying a word back, she just shields herself from being to an imaginary world, a beautiful imaginary world. So let's explore the poem. Let me take you through the summary of this poem first. The poem describes a girl named Amanda and her mother who is nagging her for her mistakes. She is first pointed out by her mother for biting her nails and for not sitting in the right posture. The mother also feels that Amanda sits in a very lazy manner. And to this, Amanda imagines herself as a mermaid who lives a calm and relaxing life in the beautiful green sea. Further, she is nagged for not cleaning her room and shoes and also for not doing her homework. She then imagines herself to be an orphan because she is now fed up of being watched by her parents continuously. She says that she would have enjoyed her freedom then by making the patterns of her bare feet on the sand and would live a peaceful life. Next, Amanda is scolded for eating too many chocolates as this causes pimples to her. She is also scolded for not listening to her mother. So now Amanda thinks of being Rapunzel, a character from a fairy tale, and wants to live in a huge tower like her. In the tower, she will be alone and will live a peaceful life and will never allow anyone to come in. Finally, the mother asks her to stop being so moody because she doesn't want anyone to blame her for harassing her daughter as she continuously nags. At this time, the poet has not written any reaction from Amanda's side because the girl keeps quiet throughout the poem. She kept herself or she withdrew herself from whatever is happening in the real situation to an imaginary world, but she didn't say a single word out. And this constant nagging has made her so sad that she has even stopped to imagine herself as someone else. She used to do so in order to escape from the continuous harassment and dominance of her parents. And that is the reason she is trying to shield herself from the real world. And all the while, she just gets into an imaginary world. She dives deep in that imaginary world and feels so calm, feels so good there. Because in that imaginary world, she could do anything she wish for or she wants. I hope the summary is clearly understood to you. So let's start line by line explanations. So the poem starts with these lines. Don't bite your nails, Amanda. Don't hunch your shoulders, Amanda. Stop that slouching and sit up straight, Amanda. And in the parentheses, the next three lines are written this way. There is a languid emerald sea where the sole inhabitant is me, a mermaid, drifting blissfully. This poem is basically a reflection of child psychology. A little girl named Amanda. She is listening to her mother's words, mother's nagging, mother's complaints, but she is trying to withdraw her, right? All the while by being in an imaginary world. So the first four lines are the words said by the mother, and the next three lines are the imaginary patterns weaved by Amanda to escape from the real situation. So try to understand that first four lines are something that is happening in the real life, that is happening in the real situation, but the next three lines in parenthesis are just a reflection of Amanda's imagination, right? Now we can see since the beginning of the poem, the mother is giving some orders, or she is throughout telling some or the other things to Amanda, right? For example, first she is telling her to not to bite her nails, then not to hunch or bend her shoulders, and she is again telling her that don't sit in a lazy manner, don't sit in a drooping posture, sit up straight, right? So here the poet is describing a girl named Amanda who is always pointed out by her mother. At this point of time, when she is being scolded by her mother, she imagines herself to be in a deep green sea. She says that she wants to be the only resident. Inhabitant means resident and soul means the single or the only one, right? So here she is imagining herself like a mermaid who is alone there in that beautiful green sea and leads her life in a very relaxing manner. She says that she wants to be carried away by the current of water and feel the relaxing environment there. Drifting blissfully here means moving aimlessly. She just wants to be calm and relaxed there. Also, please note down the figures of speech used in these first five lines. Here you can see repetition of the word Amanda, right? Amanda is used three times in the first four lines, right? And then alliteration is used. The sound S is being repeated at the start of a closely placed words. Here you can see stop that, slouching and sit up straight. S is repeated several times in the same sentence, right? And then allusion is here. How? Like mermaid. Mermaid is a well-known imaginary creature, right? So here allusion is used with the use of the word mermaid, right? And imagery. Drifting blissfully is reflecting imagery. It's giving you a visual pleasure, right? And then metaphor is used, right? Metaphor is used for the word emerald sea for green color, right? Because the sea is similar to the color of emerald. Also, let me tell you that the vowel O, right? It's used several times reflecting assonance, right? Don't hunch your shoulders. Don't your shoulders, right? So there O is repeated. And then here is anaphora, right? Repeated use of a word at the start of two or more lines. And which is that word? Don't bite, don't hunch, right? So these are repeated several times. And the rhyming scheme of these five lines are A, B, A, C, C, C. How? Let's get to know. First is Amanda, it's A. Second is also Amanda, it's again A. And then next is straight. It's not rhyming with the first two lines. So let's take it B. And then again Amanda in the fourth line. So it's A, B, C. B, A, sorry. Okay. And then see, me and blissfully, right? So it's C is not rhyming with the first four. So we'll take it as C. So the rest 3 lines are all C, C, C. And that way the rhyming scheme is A, A, B, A, C, C, C. Got it? Next, the poet has written, did you finish your homework, Amanda? Did you tidy your room, Amanda? I thought I told you to clean your shoes, Amanda. Again, the mother is giving instructions to Amanda. And then in parenthesis, it is written, I am an orphan roaming the street. I pat on soft dust with my hushed bare feet. Hushed means quiet. The silence is golden, the freedom is sweet. Here also Amanda's mother is inquiring her about whether she has done her homework or not. And then she asks her whether she has cleaned her room or not. Moreover, she is also reminded to clean her shoes. So here we can see that the mother is constantly asking her questions regarding her homework being done or not, or whether she had cleaned up her room and shoes or not. But on the other hand, while Amanda is listening to her mother's instructions, she imagines herself to be an orphan, a child without parents, who is roaming in the streets. This means that she imagines if she would have been without parents, she would have walked freely in the streets. She would have drawn designs on the soft dust with her uncovered feet very quietly. So we can see that she thinks opposite to her mother. Her mother wants her to keep everything neat and clean, but Amanda wants to play in dust with her bare feet. Moreover, she is so fed up of these constant instructions from her mother that she says silence is golden, which means that that silence is very crucial and precious to her. And she further says that freedom is sweet. This means that she has never felt free, or she never feels free when she is with her mother. Let's explore the figures of speech used in these lines. So first of all, I would like to tell you about the rhyming scheme, right? So here again, in the first 2 lines came Amanda, Amanda, and in the 4th line also Amanda. So we have already marked it A, right? So it's A, and the 4th line will also go as A. And here another word comes shoes, right? Shoes in the 3rd line. And shoes doesn't sound or doesn't rhyme with the words we have done for above, right? So here we have to mark it D, right? So the 4 lines will have the rhyming scheme A, D, A, and then street, feet, and sweet also doesn't rhyme with anyone we did above, right? So here we have done till D. So these words will be marked as E. So street will be marked as E, and feet and sweet will also be marked as E. So the rhyming scheme is A, D, A, E, E. Okay. And then here assonance is used. Again the sound O, right? Thought, told, you, your, shoes. So here this O sound is repeated after the consonant, right? And the word Amanda again been repeated here also. And metaphor is used with these lines. Silence is golden. Silence is said to be glorious, like golden color. And then freedom is sweet. Freedom is said to be sweet in taste, right? So we are done with the figures of speech. Let's proceed further. Don't eat that chocolate, Amanda. Remember your acne, Amanda? Will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you? Amanda. And then in parenthesis, it's written, I am Rapunzel. I have not a care. Life in a tower is tranquil and rare. I'll certainly never let down my bright hair. In these lines, Amanda's mother is disallowing her to eat chocolates. She reminds her of pimples that Amanda faces due to eating chocolates. At last, she scolds her for not paying attention to what her mother says. At this point, Amanda imagines herself to be Rapunzel. Rapunzel was a character from a fairy tale that was captured in a tower by a witch. The witch used to climb the tower with the help of long hair of Rapunzel that were let down by her through the window. So now Amanda wants to be Rapunzel because she feels that life in the tower will be peaceful and unusual. She thinks she will be free and live in a peaceful environment in the tower. She also confirms to herself that she will never let her hair down to anyone so that nobody could come to her in that tower. I hope now how to do rhyming scheme is clear to you. So that way the rhyming scheme of this stanza will be A. What could be there? DE we have already done. So the next word U. U is not rhyming with any one of the above. So here the word will mark it F, right? And then A. So it's A, and next three lines will be G, right? Because care, rare and hair all are rhyming together, but these are not rhyming with any one we have done till now. Okay? Here also Amanda word is repeated several times. So that is repetition, and assonance is used using the vowel sound E and O. Here the line says, will you please look at me when I'm speaking to you? So here the sound E and O, the vowel sound E and O are used, and it is called assonance. Okay? And allusion is also used. How? Use of famous fairy tale character Rapunzel. Okay? Let's come to the last stanza. Stop that sulking at once, Amanda. You're always so moody, Amanda. Anyone would think that I nagged at you, Amanda. Here, Amanda's mother now warns her for behaving in a very odd manner, for being very temperamental. She asks her to stop being in a bad mood. Moreover, she blames her of having such an unstable mood. She also scolds her by saying that her behavior will one day make people think that Amanda was constantly being harassed by her mother. So here we can say that though Amanda is always pointed out by her mother on every small thing, but she can't react to this. If she reacts towards this by getting emotional, her mother takes this against her sense of pride and scolds her that she should not behave like this, as others would think that Amanda's mother is very dominating towards her child. Okay? So here the frequent changes of mind and mood is reflected as the word moody, and sulking refers to any kind of offense, right? By remaining silent or withdrawn, that Amanda usually did with her mother, right? She remains quiet. She didn't say anything back to her mother. She just withdraws herself from that situation and gets into an imaginary world. Now I'm sure you have done the rhyming scheme correctly. It's A, then till G we have done, so the next word will become H. So the rhyming scheme is A for the last stanza. Correct? No, not correct. The last word in the third line of last stanza is U. And look back to the fifth stanza. What we have written to you, we have already done it. It's F. We have given that word name F, right? So here the rhyming scheme will be A, F, A. And repetition is used by using which word? Correct? Amanda. It's repeated throughout the poem, right? And then alliteration is used. The sound S is repeated at the start of closely placed words, right? So where it is used? Stop that sulking. SS, right? So now I hope that this poem is properly understood by you and it's clear in your mind and must have touched your heart too, because you all must be feeling the same as Amanda used to feel when her mother used to scold her for her mistakes. But see, we have to take the positive side of everything, right? If the parents are scolding us, they are scolding us for our betterment, right? And sometimes it exceeds, I do understand, but that's okay, right? Like Amanda, we can adopt this strategy that we can keep ourselves in some imaginary beautiful world where no one else can enter, but we can enjoy and relax our mind, right? Instead of saying anything back to our parents and hurting their emotions, but try to be good children. Okay, so with these kind and motivating words, I'm just um, ending this session. Hope to meet you with another poem. Till that time, if you have liked the poem, please do like, share, and subscribe. And for online classes, you can check out. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. Have a great day and stay tuned for more updates.